Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. In the past, I've made videos ranking the most powerful Gryffindors, Slytherins, Hufflepuffs, Ravenclaws, Order of the Phoenix members, Death Eaters, and more. You guys seem to really enjoy my ranking videos, so for today, I'm going to be ranking none other than Dumbledore's Army. I was thinking more of a name that didn't tell everyone what we were up to, so we can refer to it safely outside meetings. The Defense Association? The DA for short, so nobody knows what we're talking about. Yeah, the DA's good, only let's make it stand for Dumbledore's Army, because that's the Ministry's worst fear, isn't it? I'm going to assume that most of you know what Dumbledore's Army is already, and if you don't, well, shame on you. What books have you been reading? However, for the sake of the video, I'm going to provide a quick refresher. Dumbledore's Army was a secret organisation first founded in October 1995 by Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger, and others. The purpose of the society was simple: teach Hogwarts students how to properly defend themselves. Dumbledore's Army was founded in the same school year that the Ministry of Magic infringed on Dumbledore's power at Hogwarts, which resulted in Dolores Umbridge being appointed as the school's Defense Against the Dark Arts professor. Threatened and in utter disbelief at the prospect that the Dark Lord Voldemort had returned, Fudge did everything in his power to denounce and censor the prospect of Voldemort's return. This meant that the school's Defense Against the Dark Arts class wasn't really teaching students how to defend themselves, which was a bit of an issue given that Voldemort had in fact returned. Dumbledore's Army was formed in response to this lack of preparedness for the imminent fight against evil. The trio, who was certain of Voldemort's return, knew that they needed to do something to prepare their fellow peers. Harry, don't you see? This is exactly why we need you. We need to know what it's really like, facing him. Facing Voldemort. Given that Harry, Hermione, and even Ron, to some extent, were quite well versed in magic for their age, they took on the responsibility of teaching their fellow students various spells that they could use to combat the forces of evil. Harry even knew how to produce a Patronus charm, which was no joke for a wizard of his age. When the organisation was originally founded, it had 28 members, and though it disbanded by 1996, it had a resurgence in 1997. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to be providing you with, in my opinion, the 6 most powerful members of Dumbledore's Army. One important thing to consider is that these rankings are based on the power, skill of the witch or wizard during the time period that Dumbledore's Army was first founded, not later in life. I'm looking at 1995 to 1997. If we were to go by power rankings later in life, then the list would need some rearranging. Maybe I could cover that video another time. Number 6. Luna Lovegood. Luna. I think it's best if we just let the book describe Luna. The girl gave off an aura of distinct dottiness. Perhaps it was the fact that she had stuck her wand behind her left ear for safekeeping, or that she had chosen to wear a necklace of butterbeer caps, or that she was reading a magazine upside down. A known oddball, Luna Lovegood was born in the year 1981 to father Xenophilius and mother Pandora Lovegood. Luna started at Hogwarts 1 year after Harry Potter in the year 1992, shout out to people born in 1992, and was sorted into Ravenclaw House. Despite being a veritable oddball, Luna was quite talented magically, most likely stemming from her inquisitive nature. Though her presence in social situations was a bit peculiar, Luna knew a lot more about the magical world than many gave her credit for, and as a result, she was a powerful young witch. She was raised primarily by her father Xenophilius, as her mother tragically died experimenting with spells when she was just 9. However, both of her parents were, like her, magically talented but simultaneously highly unusual. When Luna joined Dumbledore's Army, she quickly learned how to produce a Patronus, and she was an extremely valuable asset in many battles, including the Battle of the Department of Mysteries and the Battle of the Astronomy Tower. Number 5. Ron Weasley. I know what you're thinking. Ron? Here's the thing, Ron was always magically talented. Okay, maybe not immediately, but he became more and more competent as the years went on. The only reason that Ron's lack of skill, ability was sometimes apparent, highlighted, was because he spent the majority of his time with some of the school's most powerful students, Harry and Hermione. Not only that, but Ron came from a huge family of accomplished and talented witches and wizards. This often left his own significant accomplishments unnoticed. I'm the 6th in our family to go to Hogwarts. You could say I got a lot to live up to. Bill and Charlie have already left. Bill was head boy, and Charlie was captain of Quidditch. Now Percy's a prefect. Fred and George mess around a lot, but they still get really good marks, and everyone thinks they're really funny. Everyone expects me to do as well as the others, but if I do, it's no big deal, because they did it first. However, if we look at Ron as an individual, he was talented, he really was, and he came into his own more and more as the series progressed. When Dumbledore's Army was first founded, I feel that Ron was really just starting to realise his potential, and by the end of the Deathly Hallows, no one would be able to argue that he became a truly talented young wizard. Number 4. Ginny. Ginny, aka Ginevra Weasley, is a quintessential sleeper when it comes to power, as her sometimes shy demeanour and unassuming appearance is in stark contrast with her sheer power and magical ability. Yeah, size is no guarantee of power. Look at Ginny. Like Ron, Ginny's skills develop as the series progresses, and by the time the films end, she is an extremely talented young witch. When Dumbledore's Army was first founded, she quickly learned how to produce a Patronus charm, and in no time at all was adept at producing other powerful spells like Reducto. Later in life, Ginny's Quidditch skills shone through more than ever, as she eventually went on to become captain of the Holyheaded Harpies. Ginny is no joke. Number 3. Fred, George. Yeah, I know this isn't one person, but honestly, Fred and George sort of are one. The powerful Weasley twins were born in the year 1978 and were sorted into Gryffindor House a few years before Ron, Harry and Hermione. The boys were funny, well-liked among the student body, and much to the dismay of the teachers that would be amused by their antics, very good students. The boys were able to produce advanced potions and spells that were well above their pay grade in terms of magical ability, and were invaluable assets in many battles throughout the series. Though Fred tragically died, and George had to live out the rest of his days without him, the boys were inseparable while still alive, which meant that their magical ability was completely evenly matched. Even if one of the brothers learnt a new spell, it wasn't long before the other brother knew how to do it as well. Number 2. Hermione Granger. Number 2. Getting close to the top. Hermione Granger was one of the most talented witches of her entire year, and the entire school for that matter. She began attending Hogwarts at the same time as Harry, Ron, and given her affinity for learning and knowledge, it's no surprise that she became a talented witch. Not only that, but her work ethic was impeccable, as while attending school, she even went as far as to use a time turner to take additional classes. She had a thirst for knowledge, and through her dangerous adventures with Harry and Ron, became well versed in the practical application of the knowledge that she had amassed over the years. Number 1. Harry Potter. Surprise, surprise, Harry Potter. I don't think that Harry's position on this list should be shocking to anyone, as he was, after all, the primary teacher of Dumbledore's army. He was the first to learn a Patronus charm, and he was skilled enough at it to teach other people. Harry certainly had a few advantages, like the fact that a piece of a powerful wizard's soul was inside of him, which may or may not have influenced his power. But the thing that influenced Harry's level of power the most was that he was hardened by his upbringing and environment. Harry was a fighter from day one, and after each altercation with Voldemort, Harry was a stronger version of his former self. I should mention, however, that Harry and Hermione are close. I think that Hermione probably knew more about magic in general, including more spells, but Harry is quick on his feet and an expert at application. Harry just had too much real-life experience for another person of his age to contend with him. And that's it for this video. What do you guys think? How would you rank Dumbledore's army? What do you agree with, disagree with? Give me your list. Until next time, remember, there is plenty to be learned even from a bad teacher. What not to do, how not to be.